It's the anti-checker.
We will return to your scheduled programming shortly, or we are currently experiencing technical difficulties.
Man, we sure are. Okay. Hey, guys. Michael J. Crawford, the anti-checker here, along with Mrs. Anti-checker today. Say hi.
Hey, guys.
So, Mrs. Anti-checker is still not 100% better. However, she was willing to come on and talk about It Chapter 2 with us because she and I went to see it this afternoon. But before we get into that, this first couple of people. So, BIRDOPREY was almost first, but then he retracted his message, which means that Kongu, who actually said second, is officially first because Bird retracted his message. And then he retyped his message saying he heard that it sucks. I assume you're talking about It Chapter 2. Commander Sutter says third. Bradley says up all. BIRDOPREY is laughing because didn't even realize I started. Mr. Mouse says first. The Supreme Editor has spoken. And Shutter says awesome video on the X People films. Yes, the X People. We're gonna get into that when we do the review. I'll tell you. That whole X woman thing. What did you think of that, babe? As she's hacking up a lung.
What did I think about what?
The whole X women thing.
Oh, that's so stupid.
And John Araki puts in a buck in the super chat. Thank you so much, John. And it says Mrs. Anti-checker gets the choice, so you get to choose the super chat for that, babe.
I have no idea where.
So
the
you can give me
are.
a number between 1 and 27, or if there's one in particular you like, I'll try to find it.
I didn't really get to see the cereal one.
Oh, okay. So let's see. I think that is number 26.
The toast and eggs are really good, but there seems to be something missing. Yeah, that's what you're having for breakfast? That simply won't do. Follow me instead. What kind of place are you taking us to? A place that will introduce you to Frosted Fruity Hulls. Not only does it have 4 unique fruity flavors, but it also has a glazed frost that makes it extra yummy.
How do they get so deliciously frosty?
The frostiness of Frosted Fruity Hulls, of course, comes from this hull. Part of a complete nutritious breakfast.
That is so disgusting and yet hilarious. And so thank you to Joshua for that. Back to the chat. Mr. Miles asked why the music was playing over itself because I didn't realize, because I had 2 browsers open, one for Mrs. Anti-checker to be able to see, one for me, and I forgot to mute the second browser. Chronos says hey to you, babe, as you can hear her hacking up her lung over there.
Hey, Kronos.
BIRDOPREY says Doomcock, Nerdrotic, and Midnight's Edge all streaming now. It will be a tough crowd. Yeah, unfortunately, Fridays are getting a little crowded. Although, every now and then I might be on Midnight's Edge, so I can't complain too much about them streaming. So, John, don't forget you already gave me, you had Miss Anti-checker choose the super chat, so thank you, John. Daniel says, hey, how you doing? Finally caught your cast, just got home. Well, welcome, Daniel, as always, and is saying Schmecklebeck. That Schmecklebeck thing will just never end, will it? Let's see. I see no choices here, only this stream. Thank you, Kronos. I will take that as a compliment. And wants number 23, but she wanted number 26. Sorry. Commander Shran is here, and Kronos is reminding people, and particularly me, to not forget to switch to live chat, because I have a tendency to do that, and I did forget today, so thank you. I am switching it right now. All right, so let's talk a little bit about It Chapter 2. So for those of you that don't know, It Chapter 1 came out in 2017. So now 2 years later we get It Chapter 2. It Chapter 1, which came out in 2017, took place in 1989. And so It Chapter 2, of course, takes place in 2015, I think. So, yeah. I guess they didn't quite do the math there for that. It is a direct continuation from the first film. There's no, it basically, the first scenes in this film are the last scenes in Chapter 1, where we see the kids gathered together swearing that they would come back to Derry if the monster ever came back. So, babe, what was your 30-second review of It Chapter 2?
Well, I thought it was really good. I enjoyed it. I thought it was a good way to wrap up the story. There was that part in the beginning that didn't make any sense.
Yeah.
But from there on out, it flowed really well. I enjoyed it.
And I did too. I think that now, Bird, you said that you heard it sucked. I don't think it sucked at all. There's just one thing that really confused me, and it's really an inconsistency more than anything else, is that in It Chapter 1, we follow these kids as they're fighting the demonic clown Pennywise. In It Chapter 2, all of a sudden, there's this significant theme and subplot about being gay. And that there was no hint of this whatsoever in Chapter 1, and so it really just seemed to come out of left field in Chapter 2. I mean, it's not that... I don't think that it was, like, horribly done or anything. It's just that it seemed to be tacked on for no reason. What did you think of that?
Well, we already talked about that.
Yeah.
Like I said, there was a part in the beginning that didn't make any sense, but I think later on it made sense.
Right.
So we're not going to get all into the details or anything.
We can't give up too many of the
but
details.
Yeah, I think there is a little part in the beginning, the very beginning, that made no sense, but then later on it did.
But I will say this, and this is something that really kind of surprised me watching the movie. And now it didn't seem to surprise you as much, but for me, I was just taken aback a little. Is Bill Hader plays the adult version of one of the kids. And John Araki throws another $2 in the super chat. Thank you, John. And says, when is a good time for Jaloja? Well, considering that the Jaloja you have to do is once a year, it's on that date. There's no avoiding it. Now, BIRDOPREY, of course, does a daily Jaloja, but that's because BIRDOPREY is kind of a weird amalgamation of Klingon and, oh gosh, what are they called now? I can't believe I'm forgetting what they're called. What is Bortus on the Orville?
You know, I can never remember what they're called.
Dang it! I forgot the name of his race now. But anyway, yeah. Anyway, and by the way, Alexander, my favorite crazy man, is here. Says, I'm here. Neelix is God. Jar Jar Binks is one of the best characters in history. The Victorian baboon woman is Trek Cannon. Asian Muslim wife born in the USSR is the best choice. Feel the burn. Hey, quiet now. But anyway, Bill Hader from Saturday Night Live plays one of the adults that was one of the kids in the first movie. And if you saw the first movie, it's the kid with the thick Coke bottle glasses. Bill Hader plays the adult version of him. Mocklin, thank you, Jason Scott. And so BIRDOPREY is an amalgamation. He's half Klingon, half Mocklin, and so that's why he Jalojas on a daily basis. And he has to Jaloja twice a day because he has two things according to Star Trek Discovery. Anyway. The Bill Hader gave a stellar performance. I was actually really, really surprised how good Bill Hader was in this film. There's actually a scene towards the end of the film that, and it was a Bill Hader scene, and I got a little teary-eyed from it. I'm sure you know the scene I'm talking about.
Hmm.
What did you think of his performance?
I thought it was great, but like you said, I wasn't surprised. He has been in other things.
Well, I hadn't seen him do anything serious before. I've only seen him on Saturday Night Live, which he's always very bizarre but very funny on Saturday Night Live. Oh, and what John, I see what you mean, John. So you were asking during the movie, what's a good time to slip out if you need to joloja? That's a tough one because once the movie gets going, it's almost 3 hours. Or yeah, it's about 3 hours long. It doesn't feel like 3 hours though. That's the amazing thing. I mean, honestly, it felt like we were watching about a 2-hour movie when we got out. It didn't feel like 3 hours.
No, it didn't.
And Resolute throws $5 in. Thank you so much, Resolute, and says, "Hail Karoga, let the missus choose." So now you get to choose an UBERCHAT.
What are those numbers?
They are terrible of you. For the UBERCHATs, it's 1 through 11.
Well, then we have to have 11 because mine goes to 11.
Mine goes to 11.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm sorry. It looks like there's actually a 12th one.
Well, still, it goes to 11.
Okay.
But here's what we're gonna do. It's a beautiful day in Karoga. Of course, it's time to protect the Karoga homelands. Ah, shit! We're already taking shots. What the hell was that? What? Son of a bitch. Son of a bitch. Who shot me? Who shot me? Where's the body? There it is. God damn it. God damn it. It would help if it was telling me where people were shooting from. Fuck! Alamarain, if you can see, Alamarain, you'll come with me. Alamarain.
Okay.
So, BIRDOPREY and his amazing gaming skills. So, anyway, John, so to make a long story short, there is not a real good time to slip out because the movie is expertly paced. And the only thing that's kind of weird, and I didn't talk to you about this, I was wondering what you think of this. It kind of... The one thing about this movie that's kind of weird to me is it almost makes the first movie redundant because I was wondering if the kids were going to even be in this movie, and they were in the movie probably half the time. And it seemed like, did we really need to split it into 2 films?
Okay, what do you mean exactly?
I
That
mean,
they were showing them from the
They showed the
first.
kids a lot in this one, and with a little bit of editing, it seems to me that the events of the first movie could have been spliced in there.
Well, I don't agree. I think that they did show a lot more of them than you thought. But remember, they even mentioned in the first film, well, what happened when they were split. They were talking about when they were separated.
Right.
So we got to see what exactly they were doing.
Right.
So I think the way they did it.
But the problem, like
better.
some of the stuff, I think would have been more effective. Oh, and I just realized that the screen is still on a blank screen. There we go. I think for some of it, I think it would have been a better impact if we had known some of these things in part 1, like the one person who was carving the initials. If we had known about that in part 1, it would have made the payoff for that person and the other person in the initials more impactful in this one.
Well, maybe for you. I understand. I mean, I think it works the way it is.
Okay. So Alexander says, Aunt Trigger, ask what Mrs. Auntie Trigger thinks about MCU Aunt May's jeans. So what do you think of Aunt May's jeans, babe?
Well, considering that they completely changed Aunt May and tried to make her young and, you know, better looking and everything, and she's wearing mom jeans, it makes no sense at all to me. It reminds me of that sketch, babe, you remember on SNL with the mom jeans? That makes no sense.
Yeah. So sorry, Alexander. Mrs. Aunt Trigger, not a fan of of MCU Aunt May's jeans. Says Bill Hader in this version of it. Harry Anderson is in the made-for-TV ABC original. It's a series of unusual casting. I'll say Harry Anderson was an odd choice.
Yeah.
But Harry did a really good job and was straight dramatic in that. With Bill Hader, it's kind of funny because I thought when you first meet Bill Hader in this film, I was like, okay, that's why they cast Bill Hader, because his character is a stand-up comic.
I think that you need to stop telling so much detail.
Well, no, that's not.
I know, but you could have just said his career matches his personality or whatever.
Well, I'm just well, that's the first thing you see is he's on.
I
the
know,
stage,
but
so
come
it's not
on
a
now.
spoiler or anything.
You talk too much.
But I'm just saying. So since he's a stand-up comic, I was thinking that's why they put Bill Hader in here, because he's just going to tell jokes the whole time. And while he does tell some jokes, he has a very serious side when the bad things start happening, and and that's where I was really kind of surprised. So let's see. Chrono says, once a Geloja gets going, it's tough to stop. That is very true. BIRDOPREY says, Zethon walked out of the movie 90 minutes in. Why? I would love to know from Zethon what he thought was so terrible about. I mean, unless the gay stuff really bothered him, which I could, you know, if you find that really distasteful, I could understand. And I didn't understand why it was there. But except for that scene at the very beginning of the film, it wasn't like in your face kind of thing.
And it made sense.
Right. That beginning of the film scene, I'll tell you, when that first scene happened, I was rolling my eyes thinking, oh my God, they're going to make this whole movie about, you know, Pride Day or something. But fortunately they didn't. It's just that, boy, that first scene is ridiculously heavy-handed. Basically, it's the old standard with Hollywood that either people think that gay people are great or they want to literally kill them. There's nothing in between. And so Kongu says, it's a beautiful day in Kuroga. The way Bird says that makes me laugh every time. No offense, of course. Well, of course it makes you laugh, because there's no such thing as a beautiful day in Kuroga. Alexander wants me to bring back the camera, which I did. Sorry about that. Cinnabon says hi. Resolute and hi, Cinnabon. Good to see you. Resolute says, we're not going to watch, so spoil away. They just wanted you to be here, that's all.
Yeah, okay.
Harry Anderson played the comics. I assume Bill Hader plays the same character. Very interesting. Yeah, that's true. I didn't even think about it, but yes. So Harry and Bill did play the same part. Very differently written, though. Kronos donates $2 and says, Mrs. Anti-Checker's choice. They're just giving you all the money today.
Yeah,
So-
and I don't know what to pick.
Well, you got 1 through 27. 26 was the Fruity Holes commercials.
Okay, we'll do 23.
23. Everybody's favorite 23. I do love that one. Josh, that was like Joshua's most inspired moment.
I know he took away from my fame there. I should have just left alone and let him just put that in there.
So, babe, you're sitting down, right?
Yes.
Okay, because Alexander wants to know. He says, ask Mrs. Antichecker what she thinks about the rumors bringing back Jar Jar Binks as a vengeful Gungan general. Now, I don't know where he's hearing these rumors, but I guess he thinks that Jar Jar Binks is going to come back as a vicious general in episode 9. Any thoughts on?
Well, you know that I thought that was a completely waste of animation and time,
Jar Jar?
and time, everything
you know
else.
Alexander loves Jar Jar.
I know I don't know that, but you know I don't. So don't ask me if you don't want me to give you an honest opinion.
There you go. So Alexander, Mrs. Antichecker doesn't care for anything having to do with Jar Jar Binks. So, and by the way, one thing about Mrs. Antichecker, if she doesn't like something, she will tell you that. So, yeah, she's not going to hold back. Resolute says, I walked out of the first one, so I'm not going to waste. Really? You walked out of I thought the first one was really good. I actually liked the first one a little better than the second one.
I loved the first one.
Yeah, I thought
great,
the first
yeah.
one was better.
Yeah.
But I think yes, the kids were foul mouthed, but I think like Jeremy Johns really nailed it in his review where he says, "Look, that's how kids talk."
It is how they talk.
You know, so if you don't like it, hey, guess what? If you have kids, that's how they're talking when you're not around. You know, and with very few exceptions, that's true. Mike Richards says, "You talk too much." My wife loved that. When was that?
I just said that.
Well, you're not allowed.
I just told you that you talked too much when I said you shouldn't be giving away too many details.
See, Mike, that's where your wife is wrong. I don't talk too much.
Oh, yes, you do.
I can't win. It Chapter 2. Is there or is there not an electric boogaloo in this film? Wait, don't spoil it. All right, I will not confirm or deny the presence of any electric boogaloos in It Chapter 2.
Yeah.
And MC's in the house saying hello. Says, thank you, Mrs. Antichecker. This super chat sounds better with the stereo turned on. If you're talking about number 23, for sure. And says, spin, Spock, spin. They love that spinning Spock. The Renegade.
I know, like I said, I should have not written the thing and just let Joshua do his music
but then we
and
wouldn't have
Spock.
spinning Spock.
Well, he could have just made that.
And the Renegade's in the house saying, good morning, fellow nerds. How you doing, Renegade? Darren is in the house. So how was the second It? I always felt the first half of the book was stronger than the second half. Well, the first movie I do think was a little stronger than the second one, but I think the second one finished very, very well. The visual effects were really, I think, some of the best visual effects I've seen in a horror movie ever.
Yeah.
And Pennywise at one point is about probably 25 feet tall. And it's one of the very few times where you see a human-looking character that big and it doesn't just look fake. Because usually if it's a person that's, you know, ridiculously tall, it just looks naturally fake, but it really worked in this. Some of the visuals were really good. Yes, obviously they depended on CG a lot, which I know some people poo-poo at, but they did it very well. Mr. Miles said, it was one of the first movies to give me nightmares as a kid. I was actually afraid of my showers drained for 3 weeks, so I'm not interested in the new one. I'll tell you, Mr. Rouse, if you get nightmares thinking about the first It, definitely do not see this one.
Well, when he was a kid, honey.
Well, but he's saying, look at like some people with The Exorcist.
Well, that's me. I didn't have nightmares. I couldn't finish watching it. Remember, it took me 15 years to watch that.
The Renegade wants to know, does it have a space turtle god? No, there was a scene where there was a toy turtle in there, but there was actually 2 turtles that I remembered from the movie. There's one that looked like it was made out of Legos, and another one that was like in an office that was like a stuffed real turtle. But no, I did not notice a space turtle god. All right, so now Alexander says, Antichecker, ask Mrs. Antichecker what she thinks about the rumor of bringing back Neelix as a vengeful chef general.
I don't care about Neelix.
Yes, she doesn't like Neelix.
No, I don't. It's not that I don't like him. I just don't care about him.
Well, okay, so you like, if you had to pick one, you would pick Neelix over Jar Jar.
Oh, definitely.
Okay. And let's see. Hector is in the house. Says there is no wrath as the one from a scorned and vengeful chef. Darren says, I heard they had to digitally de-age the kid actors because they had grown up a bit since the last one. I will tell you that I was trying to figure out if they, and I don't know the whole process. I was trying to figure out if they shot the kids scenes when they made the first one.
I think they did because I can't remember his name, but the kid from Stranger Things, he's so much bigger, and so is the one that was in Shazam. I mean, there's no way they could have done that without making it look stupid.
And we watched those movies back to back because we watched It Chapter 1 last night, and then we went today and saw It Chapter 2. And yeah, it's seamless. And so if they did digitally de-age them, they did a hell of a good job, because I didn't notice anything like that at all. It just looked like these were the kids from the first movie, and we're cutting back and forth between them and the adults. Can Mrs. Antitrigger get you to start making merchandise? Well, she's going to probably, if we get a merchandise store running, she's going to probably end up running it, so she may not want that. And Nightbreeze says, hail Antitrigger, all hail the Queen of Turtistan, Mrs. Antitrigger.
Well, thank you, my loyal subjects.
I don't like pea soup after watching The Exorcist.
I still like pea soup.
But you know what the difference between mashed potatoes and pea soup is? Anybody can mash potatoes.
Yeah, that's stupid.
Sorry. Commander Sutter says, I'm not the scary movie kind of guy. The clown movie, similar to It, was disturbing as hell. Give me a John Wick any day. I'll tell you, I'm not really into scary movies. Mrs. Antitrigger has a long history of loving horror movies more than me. But it really feels almost like a sci-fi horror movie, especially when you get to the last act of part 2. So I would say that it is the kind of horror movie that nerds would enjoy more than a typical one. Plus, all the main characters are nerds. And true nerds, being true outcasts of society. Not nerds like the super hip kids that know nerd culture stuff and run YouTube channels called Looper or something. And Darren says, my parents' third date was The Exorcist. My dad was raised Catholic and was freaking out throughout, while my mom was raised atheist and laughed throughout the whole thing.
I'll tell you, back then, my parents used to go to the drive-in movies all the time, and they used to take me with my little blankie and pillow and my teddy bear and just put me in the back seat to go to sleep. So I saw a lot of movies that were creepy and scary that I shouldn't have seen, but they got a babysitter for the first time to go see The Exorcist, and I just thank them every day, because I think I would never have been able to sleep without a light, and it would have been horrible.
Life with Matthews in the house says, good evening, Antitrigger, Mrs. Antitrigger, and all. How you doing, Matthew? And Chrono says, hey there, Hector, with like asterisks in there trying to do the... Yeah, I know. I can't... The problem is, Hector, I can't type your name. I can't... The thing I hate about your username is the second letter in your username is that E with the accent. So, like, if I do the @HE, it doesn't put your name because it's not the E with the accent. So stop that, jerk. Alexander now says, Antitrigger, ask Mrs. Antitrigger what she thinks about the rumor bringing back barbed wire as a vengeful biker general.
I don't care about barbed wire either. What's her name? Pamela Anderson?
Yes.
I never cared about her at all.
Hector says, Pazuzu, silliest demon name ever. Well, but Pazuzu is such a good, loyal pet. And lives in France. So I wonder if Pazuzu knows Luc Fauvark. Like right now in France, could Luc Fauvark be walking the streets of Paris and Pazuzu is watching over him? Just saying, that's possible. The Renegade says, Stephen King always saddled horror, fantasy, and sci-fi. Obviously, more emphasis on the fantasy. That's true. And I've never been a big Stephen King fan. Now, you've read a lot of his books. Now, once she's done hacking up a lung. You okay, babe?
Yeah.
So, you've read a lot of his books, haven't you?
Yes, but not for a very long time, so don't ask me to
Well, I'm just saying, would you
recall
agree
anything.
with what the Renegade's saying, is that basically Stephen King saddles horror, fantasy, and sci-fi?
Yes, I agree with that.
Yeah. Chrono says, so when is the next book recording, Mrs. Anti-Checker? Perhaps one for Halloween.
I don't know.
Well, I think something for Halloween would be appropriate. Darren says, I tried reading the Exorcist book while I was standing a special watch in the basement of a submarine trainer at sub school. That was a damn mistake.
I know it was.
And Nightbreeze says, don't forget to like, subscribe, click notifications, share, and tell your friends. Thank you, Nightbreeze. Although I dare say that if I were a betting man, I would say the 37 of you that are here right now are all already subscribed. Although not everybody's hit the like button, so what's the deal there? Commander Sutter, have either of the Anti-Checkers seen the Spawn animated show? Yes. We have both seen it, and Mrs. Anti-Checker's probably seen it a couple more times than me.
I remember I was actually watching it again last year.
Yeah.
I started to watch it, yeah.
But yes, we both have seen it, and it's a very good show. And so now Alexander says, ask Mrs. Anti-Checker what she thinks about the rumor bringing back Hulk Hogan as the vengeful ring general.
Again, another person I don't care about.
There you go. Alexander, you're batting 1,000 here. So far, everyone you've told me to ask Mrs. Anti-Checker about, she does not care about. So, I just say it. Darren says, I watched Cat's Eye again for the first time since 1987. Wow, that little wall troll in Drew Barrymore's room was fun, awesome, and creepy. I don't think I've ever seen Cat's Eye.
I have. I haven't seen it probably since back then.
Kronos says, I could unsub and resub if that'll help. No, that I don't think actually helps, Kronos. And Hector says, Anti-Checker, ask Mrs. Anti-Checker what she thinks about the rumor that says that Alexander will have her thing until this live stream ends.
I don't
ask her things until this live stream ends.
Yeah, I don't think that's a rumor.
Yeah, we're seeing that. And Admiral Saval throws a $50 super chat in there with just a bunch of emojis with one laughing and crying, one just smiling, one with sunglasses, one laughing and rolling and crying, and one with hearts. Wow. Thank you, Admiral Saval.
Yeah, thank you.
Very kind of you. Of course, if you want to super chat, you are more than welcome. But thank you, my friend. I truly do appreciate it. Hogan was a lot of things, but in his time, but never a ring general. Yeah, I never really thought of him as a general. More of a barbarian. And Darren says Chris Hemsworth is apparently playing Hulk Hogan in a bio movie. Really? Chris Hemsworth?
I won't watch that.
And Admiral wants all super chats. All right, you asked for it, so it'll take a couple of minutes, but we will play all the super chats. So here we go, Admiral. We'll start here, and we'll go through the list.
Oh, no, please, I don't want to go. I don't want to go, please. No, I don't want to go. No. Why would you do this to your fans, you heartless monster?
Whatever.
I'm a better female character than you.
You would be if you didn't spend all your time with that temper tantrum meme guy.
At least I'm not the one on a show with a questionable acronym.
Take it back.
No!
Yes.
Oops. Sorry to bother you.
In deepest squat, on coldest seat, bite your lip and grab 3 sheets. In brownest night, in daylight too. Beware my power, Brown Lantern's poo!
Hey, didn't we do this joke already?
The suffering. I have such sights to show. Oh, God! Oh. What's the do? Oh, yeah. Yes.
Wait, is this right?
Hey, Doc.
What's up, guys? Welcome to The Lore Reloaded. I am The Lore Reloaded, your wondrous host.
You're so bad that when you come on screen, people don't drink. They punch themselves in the dick for 5 straight minutes.
I am Lore Reloaded, here to get this entire thing started here for Lore.
You just tripped over something that was so obvious.
Okay, Dad, let me get this helmet off here and...
Fuck you, Luke Skywalker. Lousy and great. Hate that kid.
Sir, we are being hailed. On screen. What is your problem?
I am Lore.
Do you need help?
I have a YouTube channel. My YouTube channel is Lore Reloaded.
Let me guess, the rubber band broke, right?
I make YouTube go.
Heart attack!
Well, that was easier than I expected. This is gonna be a great day. And now, off to my first day of work on Indoor.
Hey, you want to learn about Jesus?
There's no such thing as hooker-client confidentiality.
I have to save that old person. Sam! Well, thank you very much for helping me steal this.
Presenting the newest incarnation of the Joker!
What? What are you talking about? That's not the Joker. That's just some guy.
Oh, right, sorry. This is the new incarnation of the Joker. Oh, right, that is disgusting!
Ronald McDonald's disembodied head!
Anal na trach. Was betad. Doch hiel dienle.
Ariel Natris Oris Bazi Bedhead Duchel Dementa. Yeah, I'm not gonna.
And there pork. It is with cooking with the pork and the pork. The guy with the cow, and we're gonna make the kelp. Here's bring out the kelp.
Yeah, okay.
Okay, the kelp, get it in the pot.
Get in the pot here.
And then we stir the kelp. That's a good looking kelp.
Okay.
What's up, guys? This is James from the Lore Reloaded. I am your lore master to... Oh God! Not again! Oh.
Huh? Oh.
This isn't the first time I've been tormented by a poop emoji. The toast and eggs are really good, but there seems to be something missing. Yeah. That's what you're having for breakfast? That simply won't do. Follow me instead. What kind of place are you taking us to? A place that will introduce you to Frosted Fruity Hulls. Not only does it have 4 unique fruity flavors, but it also has a glazed frost that makes it extra yummy. How do they get so deliciously frosty? The frostiness of Frosted Fruity Hulls, of course, comes from this hull. Part of a complete nutritious breakfast.
Hey, Joshua, I just want to make sure you knew I had a new super chat idea for you. Hey,
Oh, no more super chats, you bastard!
Stop hiding people's faces to avoid lip sync. Jeez. Well, that was exhausting. And by the way, I saw a couple of chats while I was going, and Darren, no, I didn't actually get a long break because for each super chat I had to actually hit the buttons to load up the next one. So no, I was here the whole time. Whew. Well, there you go, Admiral Saval. Thank you so much for your generosity, and I hope you enjoyed the Schmeckelbeck Run super chats. Mr. Miles says, Andrew, have you watched the epic rap battles of history video with Kirk versus Columbus? Did we see that one?
I don't think so.
I don't, yeah, maybe we missed that one. Because we do like epic rap battles. Night Breeze throws a buck in. Thank you, Night Breeze. And, of course, wants the Hypno Turd. You got it, Night Breeze. Let's see here. All hail the Hypno-Turd. You must love the Hypno-Turd. The Hypno-Turd is love. The Hypno-Turd is you. The Hypno-Turd knows everything you know, so you must surrender to the Hypno-Turd. There you go, Night Breeze. Thank you, my friend. And Darren says, ring general is actually a very specific term meaning the wrestler who directs the matches. I did not know that. Did you know that?
Nope.
All right. Well, there we go. We learned something new today. And wrestler said, no, he meant all the super chats at once. That would be just crazy. And then Darren says, Saval, if you were drowning in a pool, I would pee in the pool just to fill it up a little more. Wow, now that's mean, Darren. I wouldn't, because he just gave me $50. But even if he didn't just give me $50, you know, I don't think you would actually pee in the pool. I'm, of course, just kidding around, Saval. Great Tony Jest. I would just change the gravitational constant of the universe to lift you out of the pool. Well, that's a smart thing. Where did this come from with the pool? The ones that make fun of lore are good, so Darren likes when we poke fun at lore. Mr. Londell's here, says, greetings and felicitations. How you doing, Mr. Londell? Corrigan Streetwalker sighted. Absolutely, that is true. And Kronos donated $2, wants more Hypno-Turd with vocal fry. All right, Kronos, give me just a minute, and then we'll do that. That's where Darren said, well, at least the anti-checker will get a nice long pee break. Nope, I was sitting here the entire time. Commander says, anti-checker, ask Mrs. Anti-checker about Ryan Johnson returning as the street general. He would subvert all expectations. What do you think of Ryan Johnson returning as a street general? You know who Ryan Johnson is, don't you?
Not really.
He's the one that directed The Last Jedi.
I don't.
Directed The Last Jedi.
Yeah, I don't care.
And he has that movie we saw the trailer for today, remember? And I said they lost me at Ryan Johnson.
Yeah, well, see, I don't care.
Yeah. I can't even remember what the movie was about.
Yeah, I can't either because I don't care.
They said, from Ryan Johnson. And I was like, okay, I don't care.
Yeah.
As soon as I saw that name. So Saru gets boiled alive after Spinny Spock super chat. Yeah, that's true. Darren says, I actually haven't seen some of these. Well, there you go. Darren says, Hedger, wow, you're a real trooper. Well, thanks, I guess. They're all great, but 23 still hits you with the feels. I know, that one is so freaking awesome. Darren says, the only epic rap battle I've seen and liked was the George R.R. Martin versus J.R.R. Tolkien. I vaguely remember that, but I don't remember who won.
I don't either.
Okay, what did I roll up on? Oh, just a lot of crazy, Mr. Lundell. Somewhere, Captain Batman's pocket is itching. Yeah, now that he's a newlywed, he never shows up anymore, that jerk. Hypno-Turd should be the Turdistan ambassador. That's true. Yeah, we send Hypno-Turd for our negotiations. That'll be awesome. And then Alexander says, ask Mrs. Anti-Checker what she thinks about the rumor of bringing back Mr. T as a vengeful street general.
Again, I don't care about Mr. T.
So Mrs. Anti-Checker doesn't care, but I'll say I pity the fool. Because that's...
the only time I ever liked him was on SNL with Hulk Hogan.
Yeah, when he and Hulk Hogan were,
and they were at Fernando's Hideaway.
Yeah, your boobies, they go bobble.
Yep, that was hilarious. Yep, that was hilarious.
I also like the Mr. and Mrs. T's Bloody Mary mix. Do you remember that?
I do not remember.
That was from that same one. He was like, if you want a drink, you want a real drink, try Mr. and Mrs. T's Bloody Mary mix. And they had Robin Duke had the same hair as Mrs.
Oh,
T.
okay, I kind of remember.
He's like, buy it or I kill you. Yes, thank you. It's called Knives Out. It was the one. Remember all the knives on the wall, and there was it was a whodunit.
Yeah. Okay. Oh, that. Yeah, that was no.
So yeah. I'm hoping the Sarsgaard kid from It gets more work. Well, he wasn't really a kid, but yeah, he did the guy that played Pennywise, he did an incredible job. He really did. And then oh yeah, so Hypno-Turd with vocal fry. hail the Hypno-Turd. The Hypno-Turd is the best ever. So you must give all your money to the Hypno-Turd. Whew. There you go. That's the longest sustained vocal fry I've ever done. Just for you, Night Breeze. Or was that Night? No, it was Chronos. Was it Chronos or Night Breeze? I think it was Chronos, actually. Never mind. Well, whoever. I'm just confused now. Where is it? It was Chronos, yes. So sorry about that. Got a little confused. Alexander, I already read that. Darren says, I think Tolkien won. That would make sense. I think Tolkien would win that one. And then Darren says, yeah, so what do you think? You think Sarsgaard should get more work?
Sure. He did a great job, but I've never seen him in anything else, at least not that I know of.
And let's see. Daniel says, Andrew, remember the scene from Bad Boys? Check Discord. Badass scene. Well, I'm not going to watch it right now because I don't want to get hit with a copyright strike. But yeah, the music drowned out the fry. I'm sorry. All right. Hold on. Just for you. Let's see. All hail the Hypno-Turd. You have to, I totally love the Hypno-Turd because the Hypno-Turd is the best thing ever. Wow, just lost it there. Sorry, that's the best I can do there. Darren says, someone should make a song out of the sound bites of Anti-Trigger doing his Brie Larson vocal fry and Doomcock's the bestest ever. Yes, Doomcock does like to say the bestest ever. And Nightbreeze says, that was Kronos. I don't torture you that way. I know, Nightbreeze. You love the Hypno-Turd, but yes, you don't make me do the vocal fry thing, which is good. Too much fry. You asked for it. And therefore, this Saturday shall be known as Friday. Get it? Of course, they probably didn't see that episode, but yeah. If Sony were smart, they'd hire Sarsgaard to play Morbius, the living vampire, or some really creepy Spider-Man villain. That's actually not bad because yes, he can definitely play the creep.
Yeah, he can.
So I could definitely, you know what? Actually, especially like seeing him with that big head makeup and stuff as Pennywise, he could play Mordok. And I think he would actually be really good as Mordok. Of course, that would be in the main MCU, but yeah, I could definitely see that actually. Oh, and by the way, one thing I wanted to say, and I know this is going to sound absolutely crazy, but I'm actually thinking now that Bill Hader could make a good Reed Richards, now that I've seen him do something serious. Because I know he can do absent-mindedness, which Reed is supposed to be, but he's not supposed to be zany and over the top. And I've never seen Bill Hader do something that wasn't over the top until this. And so I could definitely see him playing Reed Richards in a Fantastic Four movie. He's the right age. Anti-Trekker, Doctor Strange and the Multiverse of Madness will introduce Marvel Zombies universe. That'll be interesting if true. I don't know where you got that information, though, because they have not released any information on it yet. Alexander says, ask Mrs. Anti-Trekker what she thinks about the rumor bringing back the MCU Aunt May as a vengeful Genes general.
I don't even know what to say about that. Next.
Alexander is insane. Nightbreeze says, great episode. Yes. In fact, we just watched, was that like yesterday that we watched that one?
No, that was like not last week sometime or something.
The Friday.
Yeah.
Where Fry saved the robot and got Bender upset and...
Yeah.
Evening, folks. Mrs. A-Trigger, what is your favorite Sinbad film and why?
Oh my God. I don't even know if I have a favorite Sinbad film.
I think Seven and the Ragged Tiger.
I'll have to think about that.
So you get it? Because that's a Duran Duran album.
Yeah, I know. That was stupid. That's why I didn't respond to that.
Mm-hmm. And so, sorry, Scientific, she can't answer that. And let's see, Darren says, despite the scripts being awful, I actually like Sarsgaard in Hemlock Grove on Netflix. Well, we dropped Netflix, so I haven't seen Hemlock Grove. I don't know anything about it. But, okay, I haven't seen it. So, this is the only thing I've seen Sarsgaard in. Who is the best X-Men? Take that, SJWs. Who is the best villain in the series? Well, are you talking about films, Commander Shutter, or are you talking about comics? Because in the films, that's actually very, very tough because almost all of them suck. But I'm going to go with Quicksilver in the film universe because I think he's awesome. He's not in the films enough, but he would be my favorite from the films. And as far as villain in the films, it would just have to be Magneto. He's really the only real interesting villain in the entire series. What do you think as far as the X-Men films?
I didn't hear what you said. Sorry.
Best X-Man and best villain in the X-Men films.
I don't know. I really don't know, honey.
No opinion.
No.
In the comic books, however, I will say best X-Men character. That's a tough one as well because there's so many really good ones. I really like Nightcrawler. Hello. And Kronos puts another $2 in. Says, "I got him. Anti-checker. I spell toast. Funny thing is, I don't own a toaster." Well, then you should probably get out of your house immediately. And if you smell toast and you don't have a toaster, that's a surefire sign that your house is on fire, and get out. And you want number 3, which I'll play in just a minute, but let me finish my little thing about the X-Men. So as far as in the comics, I think the best X-Men, I really like Nightcrawler, and I really like Storm. And I do like Wolverine, but I think Wolverine's a little overrated. The problem is really it's their relationships with each other that makes them work. Like, I like when Storm has this very serene personality, and like when she is talking to Wolverine, they've had some great interactions. Nightcrawler and Wolverine, when they like to play hide and seek in the woods around the mansion, that was really cool the way they would do it. It's really hard to pick one. But as far as villains, it's still got to go to Magneto. He is the most interesting villain from the X-Men series. Although I do have one where Dr. Doom fought the X-Men, and Dr. Doom was my favorite villain of all comics. Nightbreeze, let's see. Or actually, I skipped a couple by accident. Let me go back. Okay.
Babe,
huh?
I was going to say I thought about it, and I think it's the Golden Voyage of Sinbad.
Okay.
Because I love Tom Baker and Ray Harryhausen. Just having Tom Baker in there.
So there you go. Golden Voyage of Sinbad because it has Tom Baker in it.
Well, and because I love Ray Harryhausen.
Well, but Ray Harryhausen, didn't he do all the
I know,
Sinbad
but
movies?
I love him.
There you go.
You said why.
Yeah.
So that was why.
All right, and Darren says he would second Bill Hader's Reed Richards. Well, good. And Darren is the person that knows more about comics than anyone here, so that's a good endorsement. All right, and I'm just going to read the ones addressed to me before we wrap up here. Daniel says, Antrick, the main villain in Doctor Strange: The Multiverse of Madness will be Baron Mordo and Nightmare, which makes me worry that since Nightmare will be the villain, I'm worried that the multiverse may be a nightmare. I doubt that, because if they're going to go multiverse, they're going to go all out multiverse. But I actually don't want them to. I think that'll get too convoluted for a general audience. However, Baron Mordo is kind of, well, that's obvious. The setup in the first movie was all about Baron Mordo. Darren says, Mrs. Antitrekker, what do you feel is the tastiest brand of cough medicine? Since you're coughing.
I don't know. It would have to have been something from when I was a kid, obviously. I can't remember. I don't know if it was a cough medicine, but remember when we were kids, I don't know if you had it, but there was like Triaminic syrup. Triaminic, and it tasted like grape candy. But I don't remember if it was like a cough thing or if it was just like an all-in-one cold medicine.
For me, anything over 80 proof. says best Sinbad movie, Jingle All the Way. I kid. Golden Voyage of Sinbad is my choice. Well, there you go. You and Mrs. Antrecker are thinking alike. Night Breeze wants to know, what is Mrs. Antitrecker's favorite movie of all time?
I don't think I have a favorite movie of all time.
Well, what's the first thing that comes to mind?
Howl's Moving Castle.
There you go.
'Cause that's my favorite anime.
Darren says, I think Marvel Studios could make a killer X-Men film with Krakoa, the Living Island. I think so, too. Krakoa, the Living Island, though, of course, was the introduction of the Uncanny X-Men, and I think that would be a great way to transition the series. Like, bring in some of the original X-Men, have the team formed, and then do the Krakoa thing to bring in a bunch of new characters when you're ready to. I think maybe they should leave the X-Men alone and develop Fantastic Four. I'm with you there. They're my absolute favorite. And Kronos wants number 23. Of course you want 23, because 23 is the best. I love that one. Alexander this time says, ask Mrs. Antitrigger what she thinks about the rumors of bringing back Jenna Jameson as a vengeful Nobel Prize general. How would isn't she like a porn star?
I think she's been trying to be legit for quite a while now.
Okay.
But I don't think anything of her other than I have seen her business, so that's all I think of her as a porn star. So
Chronos says Antrekker not 3. Okay. I'm not sure why he said that, but I'm say something about the number 3. Renegade says smelling toast when none is cooking is an urban myth symptom of a brain tumor. Really? I'd never heard that one. Alexander says Colossus is the best. That's only because he's Russian. That you're saying that. I do like Colossus, but once again, it's the interaction of the characters that makes them great. No one X-Men character really stands on their own. And that's something that I think people lose sight of, and they try to make it about one character. Darren wants to know if I ever read Joss Whedon's astonishing X-Men comic book series. I don't think I've read anything that Joss Whedon has written as far as comic books. I have not purchased a comic book since the mid-1990s. As far as purchasing anything regularly and enjoying it. Chrono says, Miss Ren and Stimpy. Okay. And then says, NyQuil. Yes, NyQuil is freaking awesome. Resolute says, they will tease the multiverse until the end and reveal it as the third arc storyline. I don't know what they're going to do with the multiverse, to be honest, but I think it's a bad idea. I think that when you start getting into the alternate universes and all and multiple realities and all that crap, you're going to lose your core audience, and people are going to be scratching their head not being able to follow. So I think that is a bad idea. I think the way they did the first 23 movies of the MCU was flawless, except for Captain Marvel, and so they need to continue that trajectory, but it doesn't look like they're going to. Cronus says, can't wait for your live reviews of next season of Discovery. Cronus says, a legit porn star, isn't that an oxymoron?
That's why I said she tried to go legit.
Yeah.
I don't know. I heard that's what she was doing. I know she has kids or whatever or something, but she's just a porn star in my head.
I bet giving birth was not difficult for her.
Probably not.
I always heard smelling toast meant a stroke. Oh, well, I didn't know that. Alexander says, ask Mrs. Antrim what she thinks about the rumor of bringing back the Asian Muslim wife born in the USSR as a vengeful best choice general.
What?
He says on a pretty regular basis that the Asian Muslim wife born in the USSR is the best. And so now, and because he says he has a wife who is Asian, who is Muslim, who is born in the USSR, and is coming to live with him in Canada. But So now he wants to know about taking an Asian Muslim wife born in the USSR as a vengeful best choice general.
I don't think that's a good choice.
You're being weird today. Tentacle says smelling toast could be a stroke or a brain tumor or nerve damage in the nose. Or it could just be that there's toast off in the distance. Because says, or toast, yes. John Meyer says, one X-Men definitely don't stand on his own, Anti-Trigger. Yeah, that's the thing. The X-Men are supposed to be a team sport, you know. Sounds like I better buy a toaster. Stat. Definitely a good idea. Jameson had a very rounded performance in Zombie Strippers. Okay, I've not seen Zombie Strippers, so I wouldn't know. Tracy Lord's legit or no? Well, I liked her in Blade for the 30 seconds she was in that. That's the only thing I can think of that I've seen her in.
Yeah, well, she did some stuff, some B stuff.
Yeah, I can't think of anything I've seen other than Blade that she's been in.
Yeah.
And Mr. Mouse says, we're talking about porn stars and strokes. Yep, we sure are. So, Chief Cook says, read last comment. All right, I just wanted to point that out. That's the comment before that one. Tracy Lords is legit. Not a legit talented art actor, but legit. Just rounding up Miles so anything goes, like in a Kuroga bathroom. Oh. In other words, he ordered a mailed delivered Russian bride. I guess so. I wouldn't say the 23 movies of the MCU were flawless, but their weaknesses were overlooked due to the strength of the connected story. Well, yeah, I'm not saying that every movie in the MCU is a perfect film. Far from it. What I mean is that their execution of a singular universe covering multiple franchises was flawlessly executed, so that people followed the MCU throughout all 10 years of this build-up and loved the big payoff with Endgame. Now, if they're going to start going into multiple universes and multiverses and lots of big cosmic stuff, I genuinely think they're going to lose their core audience, and Marvel will regret it. Stargazer says, I was a carnival extra, which was fun. I didn't get paid, but I saw Bill Skarsgård get into character.
That's cool.
That is cool.
Ah.
And Auntie thinks it's worth snorting over. Mr. Miles says, I stopped making toast because I thought they caused strokes, brain tumors, and so on because I always smelled toast when I made it. Oh, that was horrible. And with that, we are going to wrap it up. And so thank you guys for hanging out with us. You know, you guys have made such a huge difference in our lives, and I truly, truly appreciate it. Next week will be, if you've seen the video today, you already know we're going to be talking about some X-Men next week. Mr. Miles is working on on my next top 5 video, which is going to be really awesome when he gets that done. And we've got all sorts of oodles of stuff planning. Plus, I get to go back to work next week, even though I don't get the operation until October. So that's going to be fun. But in the meantime, guys, oh, wait, there's one more question from Alexander. Ask Mrs. Anti-Checker what she thinks about the rumor of bringing back Ilsa She-Wolf of the SS Vengeful Soviet General.
I don't know.
Never heard of that one.
Nope.
So there you go. All right, guys, have a good one, and thank you again. Don't forget to tip your server.
Bye, guys.
Okay, so wants me to ask Mrs. Ancher if she indeed loves bunnies.
Yes, I do love bunnies.
She does love bunnies. That is absolutely true.
Thank you.